think these blackfly are getting out of control. You can see them all over this one. So I'm going to have to take things into my own hands, quite literally.
Man versus slug.
I am going to be scraping off blackfly. With the back of my thumb. As well as getting rid of the blackfly from around the main stem, the other thing I'm going to be doing is pinching off the top of the broad beans. Where the blackfly get in amongst all these leaves, it's impossible for me to scrape them off and discourage them. So I'm just going to be pinching off the very top of the broad bean like that. Getting rid of those blackfly, scrape off the ones here. Yeah. I really hate doing this. I really hate taking the tops off the plants because I feel like, we've got flowers right up here. If it had grown a bit more, we should have had more flowers. We should have more broad beans. But my experience last year was once I'd taken the tops off, it really did discourage the blackfly. And the broad bean plant itself shooted further down, and we got additional stems coming out, and we still got a really good number of broad beans. So I think this is the way forward. So I need to do this on the rest of them. With all the potting up that I did last week, I didn't get round to potting up the kohlrabi, which is what I'm going to be doing now. But I need to clear out the greenhouse because I need a shelf. I don't want to be squatting down here on the floor where I'm putting these plants for now while potting things up. I'm too old for that. Having a look at these plants, aren't these pumpkins doing really well? They've grown substantially since we put them in the new pots only a week ago. Slightly concerned they're starting to flower, but there we are. Being quite protective of the kohlrabi this year, I started them off a little bit earlier than I did last year, I think, and I've kept them in the seed tray inside for now. Last year, if you recall, if you watch the videos, you'll see that all of my kohlrabi got eaten by slugs. It was like overnight, all gone. It was quite upsetting. So I'm determined to try and keep some. I'd really like to know what kohlrabi tastes like. I've never grown it before. Well, I tried last year. Unfortunately, having it in the house, occasionally it dries out, and you can see that there's a section here which is, well, they've just dried out. I didn't water them enough. They need to be in larger pots, really, at this stage. So that's what I'm doing. Putting them in larger pots in the hopes that when I put them outside, they're strong enough and big enough to defeat the slugs. This is the bit that always makes me nervous. These seed trays are just all connected together. I don't really know how you're meant to get a single plant out other than sort of like scooping it out with your finger. But in doing so, I'm always worrying that I'm going to be damaging the roots doing this. If I turn the seed tray upside down, I think it'll just end in the plants all ending on the floor. There's really not much root to that plant. Quite concerning. Now so just top them up with a little bit more soil. Cover up whatever roots I managed to get out. Wow, it's gone warm today. So that's the bigger kohlrabi plants put in larger pots. I've now run out of larger pots with all the pumpkins and tomatoes and everything. So what I'm going to do with the remaining kohlrabis, which are much smaller plants, is put them in one of these individual seed trays. They're slightly bigger pots, and when I come to our pot later on, it's going to be easier because they'll be individual pots. So that's what I'm doing now.
So
of those smaller plants look really quite sorry for themselves, but hopefully now I've potted them up, if I give them a little bit of TLC, maybe we'll get some more than the 8 larger plants that we've got in the bigger pots. A couple of weeks ago we pulled up one of the onions because it had gone to flower, and the internet tells us it's going to taste terrible. If I keep doing that, we'll have no onions left, because this one's going to flower, this one's going to flower. But we've caught these relatively early, so I am just going to chop the flowers off, and we'll keep those onions going, and hope we get some onions at the end of the summer. The mystery seeds that we planted down the middle of this top raised bed look like they are perpetual spinach. You can see here, however, we've got some of the leaf mining insects that we were suffering from with the Swiss chard last year. So I'm just going to start cutting out the bits that are infected, throw those away, and hopefully we'll get a reasonable harvest out of this lot. Well, we're right into June now, and I've just been looking at veg in one bed, and once again I'm behind. The book's talking about winter vegetables and getting those started, and I've desperately been trying this week to keep on top of what's already growing. So I guess I'll have to leave that for next week, planning what to put in for the later half of the summer.